All right, we're back with Pierdomenico from newnuma.com. And do you still do Filigapi?
I still do Filigapi, yeah, 7 years.
All right, now you've been actually a longtime friend of mine from, I believe, like 7th grade.
Yeah.
6th or 7th grade. And you've always been, well, no, you haven't always wanted to be a filmmaker. You wanted to be a filmmaker because I wanted to be a filmmaker. But you are far more successful at it than I am so far, and I've always hated you for it.
It is pretty hilariously ironic.
So tell me a little bit about what you've been doing, what's coming up.
Well, the main project I've been working on is a TV pilot called Game Over, and it actually involves about 6 Sun Valley High School alum, which is really awesome. It's just kind of coincidence. It wasn't really planned that way. And it is a half-hour pilot about guys that work in a video game store. It's sort of a cross between Clerks and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And the creator of the series is Dave Bullis. He's a friend of mine from high school. And I was asked to come on as a producer at the end of last year, and I didn't realize how big it would become. We become the first TV pilot to be shot at the New Sun Center Studios right here in Aston. So it's very, very exciting. We had met Jeff Rotwit, who owns the Sun Center, at a party in Philadelphia, and he was very friendly to us, and he really helped us out a lot.
Well, that's exciting, and from what I can tell, it looks like there's a little bit of interest going there, at least. I mean, I saw that you did the Indiegogo.
Yeah, Indiegogo.com/game-over.
Which will probably be down by the time that this airs in April.
Bummer. We'll probably have a new one.
But I mean, I checked the other day, and it looked like you guys had like $600, $700, $800 almost, and that's more money than I've ever had anyone give me for a movie. So.
Yeah,
You're doing something right.
It is very exciting. We have to get a lot higher than that. So we're going. We have different marketing campaigns that we're putting into place, and with all of us having different projects going on. It's, it's a lot of work, but you can cut some of this out.
Don't tell me how to edit my show.
Yes, I will. No,
it's going to stay in all this conversation. I don't edit.
Okay. Oh crap! No. Okay. With 4 producers on board, it's really making the workload easier, I think. And we all bring a different level of experience to the table. One of our producers is actually an actress from Robot Chicken. Has worked with Seth Green, has been on Deadwood, and so she has a lot of that. She brings a lot of that Hollywood here to Delaware County. And she's from Delaware County originally. She also went to Sun Valley.
Well, so Seth Green. He didn't go to Sun Valley, but he's a Delaware County.
Is he? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's I think he's Upper Darby.
Upper Darby.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. So there's we got a lot of random local celebrities.
We do, yeah.
Jamie Kennedy and Tina Fey. Now you also work with the new Noma.
Noma.
I don't know.
Numa guy. NumaNetwork.com.
I thought it was Numa.
You can also access our website by going to newnuma.com. New Numa was the name of the sequel video that came out in 2006.
Gotcha.
And that was just the name of our YouTube channel, but we're promoting the name Numa Network.
Gotcha.
So
it's very confusing, Chris.
Yes. I purposely created it that way.
Well, that's not very good marketing.
Well, I think I know a thing or two about good marketing.
You can say that, but I would.
You better not cut this out, Kelly.
Oh, this is all staying in here. I've had more famous people on my show. Did you get the chick from Pink Flamingos? No.
Okay. I wish they could see this.
Yeah, for the 30 people that listen to it, they're like, "He did get the guy from Pink Flamingos." But he couldn't get the Numa guy.
They couldn't get the Numa guy, yeah.
So, is the Numa Network just the Numa guy?
It is not just the Numa guy. Gary is the icon of the channel, and we always want to have Gary involved.
No, Gary is
the Numa guy. Gary Bursma is the Numa guy. But no, what we aim to do is we're a distributor for various production companies around the country. Like we have a production company in Washington State, we have one in New York City, one in Minnesota, one in Jersey, and really it's used as a way to promote independent filmmakers, which is really kind of cool. Because we have an audience of 53,000 subscribers, getting close to that 54K mark, and it just gives them a new audience, gives them more exposure. And we, as a thanks for producing content for us, we'd like to promote them.
Now, is it just kind of one-shot videos, or do you also have like a regular series on the show?
We have one series that's sort of starting out. The way it started, Newman Network, before I was even involved, it was just series. But since then, we were finding that formula didn't really work for getting as many views as we would like. So we started doing the one-off videos. But we're looking to now getting to a mixture of both. But probably mainly one-off videos.
What's the current series?
The current series is Dr. Oblio Does Science, and it's just this young scientist guy that has these crazy inventions. It's by Team Awesome Seattle, from naturally Seattle, and the production quality is amazing. They're really funny bits. The first one we did, the first one it's called Cooking with Ray Guns, and so Dr. Oblio has built a ray gun that you could actually cook with.
Now, you used to have a show on there, I believe, called Undercover Geek. Is that true?
I was a different Newman Network.
Undercover Geek was the pilot that I made for the Newman Network that they felt wasn't funny enough. So.
All right. In all seriousness, I thought it was really good. I just really wanted to piss Matt off.
It worked. I got to write this awesome blog. And I called him Satan.
Can you put a link to it, like
on
this page?
Oh my god, that is my favorite blog that I've ever written.
And that was probably my favorite response to a blog I've ever written.
But then you'll have to. I'll make sure that if you go to Saint Mort blog or saintmort.blogspot.com, you can read all my blog entries. And this was about a year ago almost.
Yeah, about a year ago.
But yeah, basically I wrote an entire blog entry that was completely false in every way, shape, or form, that involved the Newman Network turning into Satan himself and me killing Satan and saving the world of independent filmmaking.
Yes. How's that going for you?
And you wrote back, that blog was very funny, if only your pilot was as funny. Which was a great comeback, I have to admit. And then I turned it into a sequel to this story about how I had to go and kill you yet again. And there was no response to that, so I took that as a victory.
Yeah. Well, what was funny about that whole thing was I think like we weren't so much mad at each other as we were like our egos getting inflated.
Oh, absolutely.
I think we were both extremely amused by it, and I think that was great.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I was definitely upset. Like, I was like, "Who the fuck is he to say what's funny?" His shit ain't so great. So, and then I just came up with this really funny idea of like writing this overly egomatic blog entry that made it sound like I was so sure that this was the like most groundbreaking concept ever, and it was just a guy interviewing people in costumes at a convention center, which I still want to keep doing eventually, but it was just such a lame duck idea that was just kind of like a funny little thing. And I was like, just to blow it out of proportion, that it was just like me fighting this evil conglomerate. And like that in itself is funny because you guys are so far from like a conglomerate. Like,
yeah,
Like I literally use the words conglomerate when describing you. Like it's a group of guys working at their computers to put people's videos online. Like
I was like, wow, he thinks that we're a conglomerate. It's working.
Yeah, I'm sure includes your ego. You're like, he thinks that we're important.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I remember telling my friends, and they're like, oh, Chrispy, that is so like you and Matt.
Well, I remember when it first happened, a mutual friend of ours, Dennis, was like, I don't know, I think you're going to hurt Chrispy's feelings with that.
He was the one that told me about it.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know if he's going to take that very kindly. So when I got your message, at first I was like, oh, shit. like, I was like, oh, no. And I actually legitimately asked Dennis if he had told you to send the text that you sent.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was too creative for you. like, and like, this is the funniest thing is that this has always been our relationship.
It has.
Is that we have always just crapped on each other's work. And in like the slightest way, like still praising it, like, oh, that was a pretty good script for something so shitty.
Are you sure you had to bleep out things on this?
Maybe my mom has a point. If we had a curse jar, she would have made a lot of money today.
You probably would have had a better career.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, no, and I mean, let's talk about some of the stuff we used to do. You did a bunch of independent movies, which I'm sure you're proud of still, but I think even you, like, watch it 5 years later going, oh, this is...
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Why did I keep subjecting people to watching this all the time?
Yes. I mean, our first... I think the proudest film I ever did was Destiny, which was 2 years ago, and that was... I think production quality wise and story wise, the best.
I enjoy Opaque. I don't love Opaque. Christian's just like
right.
Christian's a nightmare to watch.
It is.
And
it's painful.
I think you being older now also see that was like beyond the fact that it was like painfully written. It was just like driving this message so hard.
Oh, I know.
It just alienates everyone. Like. Instead of doing what I think you intended it to do, which was send a message about Christianity to non-Christians, I think you alienated every non-Christian that ever watched it.
Well, I mean that was pretty much the point.
Yeah,
and I was successful in that. No, we are actually doing a short film sequel to Christian this year.
You've been talking about that is that the
It's called Virginity Not Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Or VNG.
You sent me the original script for that in like 2004.
No, it's 2007.
2007,
yeah.
I feel like it was longer than that, but yeah, you've been trying to get that one made for a while.
Oh yeah, and so it's been about 4 years, and I mean, I was in school for a lot of the time, and I was doing a lot of different projects, but I mean, I'm to the point now where I'm done school. I can make my own schedule. I'm like, I really just want to do this. I want to bring back the original cast, get it made, and we had a script reading for it. I revised the script, I added to it, changed a lot of things. And we had a really good script reading about a month ago with Brian Trout, Julie Murphy, and Wolf Bailey, who are the stars of the film. And it's funny, I keep, when we meet up, I'm like, guys, I'm really sorry I made you say that stuff.
Yeah.
In high school. Because the dialogue was painful, but the short film was very exciting because it takes like the best parts of those characters and it kind of adds to it the experience I've gained over the last 7 years.
Just a funny story. Jeff Shropshire, who appears on the show every once in a while, just recently moved, and he called me and he's like, "I found a copy of Opaque when I was moving." And I was like,
"That was a better one."
And I was like, "Did you watch?" He's like, "Of course I didn't watch it." Like
it's got Matt Kelly in it.
Yeah, well, I actually didn't hate Opaque completely. I still don't like Opaque because it's still. I mean, I think you can even admit it suffers still a lot of that like brand new filmmaker.
It does, yeah.
Problems, but I feel like the jokes hit a little bit better. It's definitely not nearly as preachy as before. And I think one of the problems, and I still say this, and I think you can, I don't think I'm being offensive when I say this, because you're the kind of religious guy that you are and you don't really like to put language and stuff, it made it really difficult to do a film about racism without any racial slurs. And I think that definitely holds the film back a little bit, but that wasn't even so much you. I remember that was, you were making this for the school, and the school requested
right,
that you not have that stuff in there. And I think that's one of the biggest problems in the movie is that you're trying to make a statement about racism without actually having anyone who's painfully racist. They just have stereotypes.
They do. I mean, they have. No one's blatantly. I mean, we do have a couple racial slurs in there, and I believe the school said that it was okay if it was done in context. But being in the position I was, I didn't feel totally comfortable putting that out there. Hey, this is by me. So it was a weird line for me because I was stepping out of my box, and I'm like, who am I to talk about racial injustice? Like I had no experience with that. Also, I kind of used that in the beginning with the Randy character, where he's a character that has never experienced racism before. So I had to put myself in there somewhere, and it was really through Randy.
And I like the only other memory I have, and I'm sure this was like a nightmare for you, and I feel bad, but there was the one night that you had a bunch of people over for a script reading, and Schropp and I came over, and you had this in the making of Clerks documentary, they use a phrase of a Bible of a script, but this was legitimately a Bible of a script. That script was like 200 pages long. Like, there was no way that this movie wasn't going to be as long as Titanic. And Jeff and I just sat there and just, we weren't silent. And I'm sorry. I do apologize.
Was that
That was when we didn't even finish the script reading. We were at your house. I remember we were at your house for like 4 hours. There was like 12 of us in this room, no air conditioner, no fan in like the middle of summer. So like we were all just like dying. And every like page, Schropp and I had a different joke that we wanted to put in there.
A couple of them I actually remember adding because they were funny. No, that was RA the movie. That never got made.
Yeah. It almost became a TV pilot, though.
It did. I think we shot some of it, but
I was there for the first day of shooting.
You were there
because I was supposed to do a part, and then
we ran out of time.
We spent like 10 hours in one room filming the same conversation.
Yeah, that was. I think that could have been better thought out on my end, and I'm kind of glad that didn't go anywhere because I realized the only reason that idea was interesting at all to me is because I was an RA at the time, and when I left that job, I'm like, this is boring. This is not exciting. So I don't know. I mean, it might come back in some incarnation. I know there was a kind of a sub story with the gamers with Mitch and Nate where they go on a road
That was
trip.
the part that I found even more humorous, but I also know that those characters can't really carry a film. They're definitely more of a side character.
Sideshow. Yeah, I would like to do something with a concept like that in a feature-length film. Probably pulling from that script, just that part of it. But
well,
we'll see.
So many. I mean, the other thing is, and this is something that you and I both eventually had to learn, high school into college and on, was like those movies had characters like Volpe Man that was just such like an inside joke.
Yeah,
that it was only funny to like that special group of people,
and it was a special group of people
for like the creation of that joke.
Yeah.
And like anybody else who watches, just like, I don't get it. He's a superhero now, like, just
Yeah.
And I think that from what I can see with the stuff that you're doing, you are staying away from that. You're trying to reach a more mainstream audience, and I think that's best for you because you are someone who, even at your worst, you're someone who's just so friendly that people want to support you regardless. Like even when Christian came out, like as much as I crapped on it as your friend, I still really supported it because you went out and you did it. I mean, you did something more than I could do. And I think all my listeners should go and help support Game Over. They should, check out the Newman Network and really, help you out with your career. Because you put in a lot more effort than I have recently. So,
well, thanks. I appreciate that.
I've just kind of, this show's as personal about me as it is about the interviewees, and it's fun when I get to sit down and talk to a friend because, I had a long period of time where I was just done with it, and like I still wanted to do it, but I was just like, I don't want to sit down and write. I don't want to. I just got nothing. Like, I'm finally kind of getting motivated back into doing some stuff. So we'll see what happens, but. I know you've been there the whole time, kind of saying like, "Look, you know what to you've got the talent, just do it."
Like screaming behind my laptop, just do it, the damn thing. Come on.
I mean,
but no, you're very talented, Matt, and I think that if you really see through something, see something all the way through, I think you'll see something that's very successful.
We'll see. Describing the Moon's been written for like 7 years now.
Something like that. Yeah.
It started off as Evaporated. And then
that was in high school. That was like the same time we did Christian. You were talking about that.
But it's still the same script. It's still like it's changed greatly, but it's still the same characters and beats. Well, thank you for coming by. Where can people check out information about Game Over, just in case the Indiegogo goes down by now?
GameOverSeries.com. That will also link you directly to the Indiegogo site. And there's also, I forgot to mention, there's a lot of great incentives. You can win prizes based on how much you donate. So go check out the site and see what it is. We're giving away game consoles, DVDs, autographed props, just cool, unique stuff. So check it out. And also check out NumaNetwork.com.